Alright people, so welcome back to another video in our Mitre-Attack series here. So we are going to take a look at the last sub-technique of create accounts now. And this is cloud accounts. Let's get right into the topic then. So we are still in a tactic persistence. So this is fairly late in our kill chain. Affected now in the cloud accounts are identity providers, office suites, software as a service. And we have some contributors here. Even Caesar is on board with this one, and Mystic, some big names. That's very interesting. Well, cloud is an important topic over the last years, right? Let's see what they write. So adversaries may create a cloud account to maintain access to victim systems. Yes, with a sufficient level of access, such accounts may be used to establish secondary credential access that does not require persistent, yes. And then, in addition to user accounts, cloud accounts may be associated with services. Cloud providers handle the concept of service accounts in different ways. In Asia, service accounts include service principals and managed identities which can be linked to various research, such as authentication applications and serverless functions, and virtual machines in order to grant those resource permissions to perform various activities in the environment. So what it says is the cloud accounts, they can have quite some permissions to cause damage. That's what it is. So in Google Cloud Computing, service accounts can also be linked to specific resources as well as be impersonated by other accounts for temporary elevated cloud access. Okay, temporary. And in AWS has no specific concept of service accounts. Resources can be directly granted permission to assume roles. Okay. So here it's important that you have whatever service or whatever you use, Google Cloud Computing or Azure or AWS, have an expert on board, have an administrator in your company who is well familiar with these things. You as security researcher will only be able to give some hints, as we have here in 2 pages we look at the detection strategy, but you need an administrator who can show you this on the technical side. And so just make sure to use that cloud tool for which you have the resources, human resources. Then what they say, adversaries may create accounts that only have access to specific cloud services, to not catch attention by the administrators. Once an adversary has created a cloud account, they can then manipulate that account to ensure persistence and allow access to additional resources, for example by adding additional cloud credentials or assigning additional cloud roles. Once they have an account, they can do quite some mischief. That's true. Let's look at procedures and mitigations. So procedures, we have here AAD internals. That's a software. That's not a hacker software. That's a normal software. Can create new Azure AD users. This AAD internals, this is a regular everyday administrative tool for your people. You can monitor that obviously. Then you have here hacker group APT29 can create new users through Azure AD. Well, not surprising. And then we have the lapses group has created global admin accounts in the targeted organization cloud instance to gain persistence. Not surprising as well. I'm surprised that we have only 2 groups here, so I would guess there are a lot more hacker groups that are doing mischief on that end. But mitigation, again, multi-factor. Yes, so if it's not just a password you can protect, but it's inconvenient for your admins, so convince them to use multi-factor. Then you have network segmentation. That's interesting. So cloud network segmentation, that's quite something. Well, let's read it. Configure access controls, firewalls to limit access to critical systems and domain controllers. Most cloud environments support separate virtual private cloud instances that enable further segmentation of cloud systems. So this is another type of network segmentation. It's not like your typical on-premise. Here it's in the cloud, and here virtual private cloud instances. That's the buzzword here that needs to be used. I suppose it's a similar concept. I've never seen it in detail, to be honest. So when it comes to cloud computing, I never dig too much into segmented networks. When it comes to cloud, the trick is to monitor your accounts and to do identity access management a little bit more. That's what the next thing is, privilege account management. So that's key there. Segmentation in the cloud, I gotta look into this, but so typically you want to have your on-premise network well segmented. In the cloud, it appears to me that it is like all in one bubble, sort of. So if you are like in a cloud provider, Azure, so you have your Azure administration interface there, and it appears to me that the hierarchy there is much more. It's not as steep as in a typical segmented network in the on-premise, but as I said, I need to dig into this a little deeper. If you have more knowledge on that, let me know in the comments, would be interesting. If you have like a good source, for example, on the difference of network segmentation, cloud and on-premise. Yeah, privilege account management here, that's also almost self-explanatory. Monitor these things. And then when it comes to detection, you gotta pay attention to the API calls they say here. So in general, without reading all of that, here I see command line interfaces, identity access management, user roles. Pay attention to all methods in the cloud that allow you to create a new account. So they talk a lot about APIs here in the different cloud environments, and that's what you want to be doing. Yes, you want to take a good look at what accounts are being created, and especially the high privilege accounts. So an adversary might start with a normal regular user account, yes, but they will try to escalate their privileges in time, and this is what you wanna understand and see, and close and shut down that account immediately once that happens. In terms of references, what do we have here? So Microsoft explains how to add admins, Google create cloud entities. So here you have like the cloud providers who explain how to do it in their environment, yes. And then AAD internals, how it is working. So what I miss here is a little bit more references on mischief. So here you have like the providers themselves. They give you Microsoft like AWS. It's like a source how to use things, right? But it shouldn't be so much about how to use these Google accounts. It should be, or AWS, it should be more like how to protect them. So yeah, a little bit weak on the sources here, but that's sometimes what it is. So let's not worry about these little things. The main thing is now that we spend time on cybersecurity, and this is time well spent, as I oftentimes say. This is the last sub-technique, cloud accounts, and we now have a little bit of an understanding about how these account creation things work. As usual, thank you for watching. See you in the next video then, and let's finish this video off with some nice music, shall we?